He talks to me like I am a person he has been waiting to punish. I am at the chain gate by the neighborhood pool, fingers around the cold metal links, when the security guard steps out from the office window light. His flashlight beam hits my chest, then my face, and he does not ask who I am. He says very calm, very certain, "You know they had to drain it last time." My mouth dries. I have never met him. I live 3 streets over. I have only ever come here during the day, with noise and kids and sunscreen. I start to say you have the wrong person, but he cuts me off, like I am making excuses he has heard before. He says, "Do not do it again." The gate is locked, of course. I am not trying to get in. I was just passing by. That is what my brain tries to insist on, because the other possibility is unbearable, that this stranger has a file on me, a memory of me, a version of me I do not remember. I ask him, what did I do? His eyes narrow a little. He shifts the flashlight so the beam does not blind me as much. Under the brim of his cap he looks tired, like this is the 3rd time this week. He says, "You act like you forgot." Behind him the pool sits in darkness, a flat rectangle of black water with faint silver skin where the moon touches it. The deck chairs are stacked. The lifeguard stand is empty. Everything is locked down for the night. He says they were up all night scrubbing the tiles. You left something. I swallow. A normal person would leave. A normal person would take the shame even if it was not theirs, because the alternative is an argument with a guard at midnight. But my feet stay planted. Something in his tone hooks under my ribs. I say, I have never been here after hours. He tilts his head slightly, listening, like he hears a second voice behind me. He says, "Sure." Then he steps closer to the gate, and the beam of his light falls on my hands. His expression changes. Not surprise, recognition. He says, "You still have it." I look down at my hands if there is blood on them. There is only my phone. I say, "Have what?" He lifts his chin toward my pocket. I feel my phone buzz once. A single notification I did not hear arrive. The screen lights through my jeans. I take it out. There is no notification banner. Only the lock screen photo I have used for months. A picture of me and my sister at the same pool, taken last summer in a harsh noon sun. We are squinting. She has her arm around my shoulders. Behind us the water is bright and harmless. The guard says that. I stare at him. Then at the picture. It is the same photo, except it is not. In the background, near the deep end, there is something on the surface of the water that I have never noticed before. A dark smear, like oil. My throat tightens. I unlock the phone and open the photo. The smear sharpens, resolves, becomes a shadow shaped like a person standing in the water up to the chest. But there is no face. Only a deeper darkness where a face should be. I blink hard and look up at the real pool behind the guard. It is too dark to see the water clearly from here, but I can see the faint shimmer of ripples. The guard does not move, like he is watching my reaction more than the screen. He says, "It arrives early." You know that. I say, "What arrives?" He points with a flashlight toward the pool. The beam skims the water, and the surface trembles. At first I think the light is making patterns. Then I see it. The ripples are not random. They pull into lines, straightening, tightening. The water gathers itself into shapes that look like letters. My name forms on the surface, written in moving silver strokes that collapse and reform as if the pool is breathing. I cannot speak. My skin goes cold. I have the sudden, sick certainty of being addressed by something that knows me. The guard murmurs, like he is reading a sign he hates. He says, "It is calling you again." I stumble backward from the gate. The chain links bite my palm. The letters on the water blur, break apart, then reform into something else. A short sentence. Come back. The guard sighs, long and resigned. He says, "Look, I do not get paid enough to be your conscience. I just keep the gate locked. If you are going to do this, do it somewhere else." I find my voice in a thin, cracked line. I say, "I do not know what you're talking about." His face goes flat. He says, "You brought it here. You left it here. You keep checking that picture like it is going to change its mind." My stomach flips. I glance down at my phone again. The photo fills the screen. The bright summer day. The shadow in the water. I back out and open it again. The shadow has moved. It is closer to us now, nearer the shallow end. The water around it is darker, as if it is bleeding ink. My chest tightens so hard it hurts. I open and close the photo again, fast, like I am testing a glitch. Each time one detail changes, the shadow shifts position by a few feet. The angle of my sister's arm changes slightly, as if the moment is being edited. The glare on the water moves like time is skipping. On the third open, my sister is not smiling anymore. Her mouth is pressed shut. Her eyes are wide, looking past the camera at something behind me. I have never seen her make that face in my life. I feel the guard watching me like he is waiting for me to admit something. I whisper, "This is not real." He answers immediately. He says, "It is real enough to make you come back." The pool water twitches again. The letters dissolve. New ripples gather. A different message forms, slower, as if the pool is thinking. "You left me." I jerk my eyes away. I cannot look at it and keep my thoughts straight. Every part of me wants to run, but my legs are heavy. The guard steps back, creating space, like he is giving me room to decide what kind of person I am. He says, "You can go. You should go." I show it, but the photo in my hand feels like a weight that will not let me. I say, "What do you mean it arrives early?" He hesitates, then makes a small gesture with his flashlight toward the far end of the pool, the part closest to the fence line where the trees cast thick shadows. He says, "The shadow shows up first. The person it belongs to comes later." Like a warning, like a promise. My tongue sticks to the roof of my mouth. I say, Whose shadow? He looks at me like I am pretending not to know. He says, yours. The world tilts slightly. I grip the phone harder. I laugh once, a sharp involuntary sound that does not match how I feel. I say, that is not possible. The guard says, then why is it always your name? The water ripples again. I cannot help it. I glance. The letters are not my name this time. They spell my sister name. My breath catches. My sister lies across town. She is asleep. She is fine. She has to be fine. The guard voice softens, just a fraction. He says, it does not only call you. I look down at the photo again. I open it. Now, in the background, on the concrete deck behind us, there is a figure standing in the shade of the fence. It is tall, too tall. The edges of it are soft, like smoke trying to hold a human shape. And beside it, on the deck, there is a dark stain that looks like a second shadow, detached, stretched out as if it arrived and lay down to wait. I feel my scalp prickle. The guard steps closer again, voice low. He says, it comes early. It waits. Then the rest shows up. I force my eyes off the screen. I say, I do not understand. He nods once, like that is the problem. He says, you keep saying that. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out a ring of keys. They clink softly. The sound carries in the empty night. My heart pounds. I say, why are you opening it? He pauses with the keys in his hand. He says, because you are not going to sleep if I do not. He slips the key into the padlock. It turns with a dry metallic click. The gate opens inward with a groan. The smell hits me first. Chlorine but stale, like a closed room. Under it, something else. A faint sourness that does not belong. I step inside because my feet move on their own. The guard stays near the gate, not coming all the way in. His flashlight beam sweeps the deck, cautious. He says, do not touch the water. I nod too quickly. The pool is darker up close. The surface reflects the moon in broken pieces. The ripples are subtle but constant, as if something under the water is shifting in its sleep. I keep my phone in front of me like a talisman. I open the photo again. One detail changes. The fence behind us is closer, like the camera zoomed. The shadow figure in the background is clearer. It is standing with its head tilted, watching. I open it again. Now the figure is right behind me in the photo, close enough that if it had weight it would press against my back. But in the photo my shoulders are still relaxed, my smile still forced, as if my body does not know. My stomach rolls. I whisper, why do I not remember this? The guard answers from behind me. He says, because you did not look. I turn my head slightly. He is watching the water, not me. I follow his gaze. On the surface, letters form again, careful and deliberate, like a finger tracing in mercury. Open it, my hands shake. I say, it wants me to open the photo. The guard says, it always does. I swallow. I open the photo again. My sister's face changes. Her eyes are no longer looking past the camera. They are looking straight at me, and they are glossy with tears. Her lips are parted like she is trying to speak. I can almost hear her voice in the silence, not from the phone speaker, but from my own memory, like a sound I have been avoiding. Behind us in the photo, the pool water is darker, and in that darkness, letters ripple across the surface. They are the same letters forming in the real pool now. I look up at the real water. The message is finishing. Bring her, my body stiffens. I feel like the ground has shifted under me. I say, no. The guard makes a small sound, not quite a laugh. He says, that is what you said last time. I spin toward him. I say, I have never been here after hours. He does not flinch. His face is lit from below by his flashlight, making the lines under his eyes deeper. He says, you were. You came in through the side gate. You did not see me because I was not on shift yet, but the shadow was. My throat tightens. I say, that does not make sense. He points toward the far corner near the pump house. He says, look. I follow the beam. In the corner of the deck, where the concrete meets the tile, there is a faint mark. A dark scuff, shaped like a footprint dragged sideways. It could be anything. Turret, mold, but the shape is wrong. Too long. Too smeared, like a foot that did not lift. My phone buzzes again. This time the screen lights up with a new notification. No sender name, just a photo attachment. My breath stops. I do not tap it. I do not want to. My finger moves anyway. The screen fills with the same summer picture, except now, in the foreground, right at the bottom edge of the frame, there is a hand. Not my hand, a gray hand, wet, with fingers too long gripping the pool ladder rung as if it is climbing out. I make a small sound, and it comes out like a choke. The guard says, do you see? I cannot answer. My eyes are locked on the hand. I look up at the real pool ladder. The metal shines faintly. Nothing grips it, but the water around it ripples, tight circles as if something just moved beneath the surface. The letters on the water dissolve and reform, faster now. Early, my skin crawls. I take a step back. My heel catches on the edge of a drainage grate. I wobble. The guard grabs my arm, steadying me. His grip is hard, urgent. He says, listen to me. When the shadow shows up, you do not wait for what owns it. You leave. I stare at him. I say, what owns it? He looks past me toward the water, and for the first time his calm cracks. His voice drops. He says, the part of you that did it. The deck seems to narrow, the darkness pressing in from the hedges and the fence line. I feel watched from angles I cannot see. My phone is still open to the photo with the gray hand. I close it, my thumb slipping on the glass. When I open it again, one detail changes. The hand is higher on the ladder now, and my face in the photo is different. My eyes are not squinting in sunlight. They are wide, fixed, and my mouth is slightly open like I am listening. I feel something in my own face try to mimic that expression, an involuntary slackening. The guard releases my arm like it burned him. He says, do not let it teach you that look. The water makes a soft sound, not a splash, but a shifting, like fabric dragged across tile. I look at the ladder again. A shadow pools there, darker than the surrounding night, shaped like a person standing just out of sight. But there is no body, only the shadow. It lies across the deck, angled wrong for the moon, stretching toward my feet. It stops inches from my shoes. The guard breathes out through his teeth. He says, it is early. My phone buzzes in my hand like a heartbeat that is not not mine. The screen lights on its own. The photo opens without me touching it. One detail changes. In the background, the tall figure is no longer behind the fence. It is on the deck, standing right where the shadow lies in the real world. Except in the photo, it is not just a shadow. It has weight, jip, a suggestion of shoulders, of a head, and it is wearing my face. Not perfectly, like someone copied it from memory and got the eyes wrong. The letters on the water surge into a final message, the ripples cutting sharp as glass. Switch. The guard voice turns fierce. He says, do not look at it. Do not answer. Do not step into that shadow. My feet are frozen. The shadow at my toes twitches as if it is testing the boundary of my skin. My phone screen goes black. Then it lights again with the camera app open, front facing. I see myself in the live view, pale and shaking. Behind me, in the black water, something stands up slowly, as if rising from a chair. But the water does not splash. The surface stays smooth, writing letters around the shape. I turn too late, and the pool is still empty. When I face my phone again, the live view is closer to my face than it should be, like the camera moved without my hand moving. My eyes on the screen blink out of sync with my real blink. The guard grabs the gate with one hand, ready to slam it. He says, if you brought her, it will take her first. My throat burns. I whisper, I did not bring her. The shadow at my feet slides forward 1 inch, and my phone shows my sister standing behind me on the deck, barefoot, dripping, her eyes empty like the deep end. Then the real pool water ripples, and her name begins to form again, letter by letter, like it is signing for a delivery. I hear a soft step behind me on concrete. It sounds like someone arriving late, and the shadow at my feet finally connects to something. I do not turn fast enough to see what. I only feel the temperature drop, and the phone in my hand updates one last detail as the screen auto-opens the photo again. Now my sister's arm is around my shoulders, but the hand on my shoulder is gray and wet, and the fence gate in the background of the photo is open, just like the one behind me. The guard whispers, almost pleading. He says, do not let it walk you out. The shadow climbs my leg like cold water, and my own voice answers from somewhere close behind my ear, saying my name the way my sister does when she is afraid. I finally turn. The flashlight beam catches nothing, but the shadow on the deck is no longer mine. It is standing up, and it is waiting for me to step into it. My phone screen brightens, and the letters on the water begin to spell a new instruction, starting with the first line of my address. I can read the first 3 numbers before the ripples blur, and the gate behind me clicks like someone just took their hand off the lock. The guard says it knows where she sleeps, and the shadow leans toward the exit as if it already remembers the way home. I take one breath, and my reflection in the black water smiles first.